coordinate plane. This should be a review, so I'm going to hit it quickly, but I want to make sure you have something that you can look at to reference back to if you need it. Coordinate plane. This is on October the 5th, 2015. This is on page 12 in the 7th grade journal. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got a grid drawn. There are two axes. The first one that goes up and down with a long leg is the y-axis. It has a long leg and it goes up and down just like the y's leg goes up and down. The y always goes up and down. The second axis goes straight across horizontally and it is called the x-axis. And it is kind of short and squatty and so it goes across. With y we have a long leg up and down, and with the X it's kind of short and it goes across because the Y is kind of short, so it kind of goes across. You know that when you have an X and a Y together, it's called an ordered pair. For example, 2, 3 would be an ordered pair. And in an ordered pair, the X always comes first. X comes before Y. In the alphabet is a way you can remember it. X comes before Y. Oh, I didn't write the word before. X comes before Y in the alphabet, and on the coordinate plane, X always comes first as well. So if you have two numbers like this in an ordered pair, you're always going to go do the X first and then the Y. We'll put this one on in just a second. Some other things we need to put on our coordinate plane. In the middle, where everything begins, everything starts from here, just like the word that describes it. In the middle, it's 0, 0 if you had the ordered pair, and this is called the origin because it's where everything originates from, the origin. Then in the coordinate plane, you're going to have some quadrants. There are 4 quadrants. Those quadrants are, you can remember what order they come in if you make the letter C. I'm going to make a big letter C on my coordinate plane, big letter C. And this helps you remember the quadrants. Where the letter C starts would be quadrant 1. If you continue with the C, the next place you're going to hit is going to be quadrant 2. These are in Roman numerals. If you continue on with your C going down here, this would be quadrant 3. And your C would end over here in quadrant 4. Those are the 4 quadrants. Another little thing you can do with the quadrants, anything in quadrant 1 is going to be over to the positive side and up positive. So both of those would be positive. So you can have a little face. Positive, positive goes in quadrant 1. Quadrant 2, you go over negative, because you always go over first. And then you would go up, so over this direction would be negative, up would be positive, so quadrant 2 is always going to be negative and positive. So your X would be negative, your Y would be positive. In quadrant 3, you would have to go over to the negative numbers and then down, also negative, so both your X and your Y would be negative. If you were making a little face. And in quadrant 4, you would go over to the positive side and then down into the negative side, or portion, so it would be positive, negative. Those are the 4 quadrants. You could also label points here just so you can have some examples in your journal. If I have A and I call it 0, 2, and B, we could do 3, 0. A for 0, 2, well 0 tells me how far to go across. So on 0, 2 I don't go across at all. I would just go up 2, and that would be A. For B, I'm going to go over, and it's positive 3, so I'm going to go over to the positive 3, and then it says to go up and down 0. So I'm just going to go over 3, up and down 0. That would be B, point B. C, let's call it negative 3, negative 2. And D, we'll have 2, negative 4. C, the first number is my X, if you'll remember, and you always go across first. You have to crawl before you can walk. That's another way you can remember, always going across first before you go up and down. You have to crawl before you can walk. I'm going to write that up here. Go across first, and you have to crawl before you walk. And again, what that means is that you just have to go across on your coordinate plane before you can go up and down. And you can remember it because if you're a baby, you got to crawl across the floor before you can stand up straight and tall and go up and down. So on C, negative 3, negative 2, I'm going to go over negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and then from that point, I'm going to go down to 1, 2. So negative 3, negative 2, or point C would be there. And point D is 2, negative 4. So I'm going to go over 2, 1, 2, and then down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this would be point D. Stop.